Hi, this session is about client management, tips about how to build and maintain a healthy and successful relationship with your clients. Tip 1. I think that when you're a client manager, you need to be a little bit like a psychologist. You really need to try and understand your client as a person. Is he introvert, extrovert, detail-oriented, big picture, rational, emotional, competent, incompetent, too busy, control freak? In summary, you need to study the person you're dealing with and adapt to the profile. Tip 2. You really need to understand the full picture, the context in which your client operates. Is it in a big team? Is it in a small team? Doing it all alone? Is it in a very political organization? Any recent layoffs? How is his or her function valued within the company? This will have a great impact on your client and therefore on you. Tip 3. Based on your analysis of tip 1 and tip 2, a good client manager needs to be a little bit like a chameleon. Of course, you can't change your personality, but you can adapt a little bit your style. For instance, if your client is a big picture person, please don't send him long emails with plenty of details. It will annoy him. If your client is some sort of a control freak, you need to send constant updates and keep reassuring him. Always think that by selecting us as vendors, the client's internal reputation depends on you. If you don't do well, it will also reflect badly on them and because they chose us. So always remember that your role is also to help your client shine internally. Tip 5. Preparation. You will never say or do that enough. Always prepare in advance of any call, any meeting. You don't need to be an expert in everything, but you need to show that you've done your homework, that you care. If you don't know the answer to a question, it is okay to say that you will get back, but then you really need to get back. Tip 6. Always put yourself in your client's shoes. Read all your emails, reports, and communication as you were your client, and ask yourself, what does it mean for my client? Tip 7. Communication. Listen carefully, ask questions, never assume or take things for granted. If in doubt, always rephrase what you think your client said and ask for confirmation. Clients are busy people, so all communication from you has to be clear, concise, and straight to the point. Please don't dump lots of questions, doubts, or philosophical issues on your client. They expect solutions from you. Don't give them problems. Tip 8. When starting a new project, carefully look at the contract terms, review all details, objectives, and if you have a doubt, just ask the person who wrote the proposal. You really need to make sure that you know everything about the project and what the client expects. For instance, you could ask, what success look like on this project for you, dear client? Tip 9. When the project starts, you need to agree on a modus operandi with your client. Agree how often they want updates, in which format, what type of information they need. Agree on the rules of the game with your client, and most importantly, stick to it. Tip 10. If you see any red flags on the horizon, always anticipate and get your manager involved. If there are problems ahead, don't hide away or pretend all is well. You need to find a solution. Clients do understand that sometimes there are problems in a project, but they expect you to come up with a solution or with some alternatives. Tip 11. Always keep clients informed on your progress, send regular updates. They need to know how the research is going because they need to inform their own internal clients. Remember, you have to help them shine. Tip 12 is fundamental. Never overpromise and underperform. Sometimes we have to say no to clients. When you know that what they want is not possible, when you know that you're heading towards a disaster, it's always better to say that you would not recommend that approach, you give them the reason, and you propose alternatives. If they really don't want to listen, and you and your management are sure that the proposed way is not going to work out, then you'll need to say that we cannot commit to the project under those terms. Tip 13. Always write down everything you verbally agree with a client in a follow-up email. Dear client, as agreed, blah blah blah. This reflex will save you from trouble later. Also, make sure that you copy your colleagues and you always file all your client emails to make sure you're covered should an issue arise later. Tip 14. Always try and add value to anything you do. Go the extra mile, be proactive, always ahead of the game. You are the consultant, you are the expert, your client pays you for your time, experience, and opinion. Tip 15 is one of my favorite. So what, so what, so what? Keep asking yourself, so what, for everything you do, everything you write, whether it's an email, a slide, an entire report. If you cannot answer that simple question, it means that your slide is either confusing or totally unnecessary. So if there is no message, just delete it. Tip 16. Troubles with the structure of your report or writing the conclusions? My advice to you is always start from the end and ask yourself, what's the key thing about these 2,000 slides, hopefully not, that my client will remember, need, or use? Start from that and build a story about it going backwards. Finally, a successful client management is all about good preparation, rigor, effective communication, and a lot of emotional cue. Thank you.